Welcome to Tobar's Realm. Today I think I'm gonna start making like a stand-up forge that I can use with charcoal, or I think probably coal too. But the idea I've been thinking about is to use the rim of a tire and have it like on its side, and then underneath it I was thinking I'll put a brake disc rotor, which will be where the fuel is. And then I was kind of thinking maybe I'll cut this rim in half, take the center out where the part where you bolt it to your wheel. I'll cut that out of there so it'll be a circle just like a donut, and the part with the holes I'll just cut it around the edge and cut it in half, and then put hinges on one side so it can open and close. And then I got some square tubing, like I think it's 2 inch, I think so, that I thought I'd use underneath for the stand, and then some sort of base. I don't know exactly yet, but with that tubing I think I'll put an elbow in it, and then I'm gonna buy like a cheap hair dryer to blow air through it. So that's my initial plan. Now I know I got a rotor out there. I got several of them from previous brake jobs, and I know there is a wheel out there, but it's got a tire on it, so I'm gonna have to deal with cutting that off. But let's go check it out. So here's my rotors. I'll just grab one of those. I think they're all the same size. I think they're both sets are off the same car. And let's go find that rim. Alright, here's some old tires and rims. These are actually out of an old bale wagon. I knew I'd end up using them for something at some point. So I'm just going to drag that back and cut that tire off and cut the inside out of it probably. I don't know. I'll mess around with it and see what I like. Alright, I got that tire and that rotor over here. That rotor fits in there pretty good. Once I cut that center part out, should be alright. And now I'm just gonna cut through the tire. I'll have to cut into the metal here to cut that bead of the tire off, but it's okay. I'll just use that as where I'm gonna cut it all the way across anyway. So let's get to it. Alright, well I got the bead cut on that rim of with the tire, so I'm hoping that's enough that I can get it off of there. These things are tough. If not, I might have to cut it a little more. But, well, that was fun. I didn't even think about it having an inner tube in it. I had to pull that out and cut it out of the way, but anyway, I got it. These cuts aren't lined up very well, but whatever. I can always put a weld on it, fix it if I feel like it. But now I'm going to cut this inner piece out of here. It looks like it's just like riveted to it. Alright, so I got the center cut out, and I got it cut in half. Kind of just sitting it on here to figure out what I want to do. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it all along this like first bend, so I'll kind of get this bell shape, cut it just right below that, and then I'll turn it over and weld it on top of the wide part of the opposite side. This will be kind of like that. And then I'll weld that smaller piece that I cut off on top of it. Because my idea is it'll kind of make it a little bit bigger on the inside. Not much, because the way that it is now, it gets so narrow on the inside, and I kind of want to just open that up. So I'm going to cut that off and weld it on top so it'll be kind of bell-shaped inside of it. Alright, well, I got the rim cut along where I said I was going to do it, and then just kind of have it set here for now. My plan is to weld that so you can see it's kind of rounded on the inside. Instead of being narrow on the inside, it's rounded outwards. I've been thinking about what I'm going to do on the inside to get that airflow from below. This is too big because all the fuel will like fall down in there. So I don't know, I've been thinking this giant washer, maybe if I just put some little legs on it so that it's maybe like ½ an inch up, so the air can get underneath it but still small enough that it doesn't fall back through. Maybe like just some great like expanded metal across it. I don't know, but alright, got that welded on there and cleaned up a little bit. Not amazing welds, but like they say, the grinder and paint make you the welder you ain't, but it's good enough for what I'm trying to accomplish here. So what I think I'm going to do is, I was originally planning on hinging it on the edge, but what I think will work better for me is maybe just weld some little risers on the edge of this so I can just set it inside. Okay, it's always a struggle when you've got the camera rolling, but anyways, it fits in there alright. So anyways, do some little risers that this will fit in. So I got these cleaned up. I just burned all the paint off and then took a wire wheel to it and then cleaned it off with carburetor cleaner. And I'm just going to put a coat of this high heat paint on the outside. I'm not going to worry about the inside. I don't really care about the inside anyways, but that's where I'm at now. Okay, well, I got those little tabs welded on the edge there, and those are intended to just hold the burner chamber so it kind of can't slip off of there. And then now I need to figure out on the inside, I'm thinking I'm gonna cut this like around on that, so then the fuel, charcoal or coal or whatever I end up using can have some space in there, and then this will be a solid surface to put the crucible on. So that's what I think I'll do on that. I'll just cut it on that raised part there, so it can fit right there. And then I'm not sure, I might need to cut some breather holes in the side, because if the crucible's sitting on it, it'll cover where the heat can come through. But that's where I'm at now. Well, I got this part cut off of there, and then once I got it cut off, I just cut it down from those lug holes. And then it's a little messy still, I haven't cleaned it up, but the point is that I want to use it for that, so then I'll have a pretty decent sized chamber in there for the coal or charcoal, and then it'll have room to get out the heat if that hole's covered up. So I think that looks pretty good. Once I run it, and if it doesn't work, well, I'll try to come up with something else, but I like it. So next I gotta figure out the base, and I'm thinking using some more of that like, what was this, the barn door runner pieces. I'll close up that gap, whether I cover it or just squeeze it together and weld it one way or the other. Then I'll just make pipe out of it and attach that into the hole in the bottom. Maybe, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but that's where I'm at. Well, I've been working on how I'm going to make the base for it, and I had some 2-inch square tubing, which is a little overkill, but I had some, so that's what I'm going to use. It's actually upside down right now, but I'll weld this together and then make it so this part can just sit down inside of that, so the frame will go around it like that, and it can just sit inside of that square part. And I didn't make it very tall. This is only a foot tall, but that's tall enough. And then in the bottom, I'll figure out that tubing to blow air through it. So next, gotta weld this together and try to keep as square as possible. I need to get me some of those magnetic squares for welding, but I don't have any, but we'll do it. Alright, so I got the stand welded together pretty good. This one leg's not quite square, but I'm not surprised. So that's just designed to sit, have that rotor sit down in there. And then on the inside, I'm thinking I might attach this big washer in here just to make that hole a little smaller. Maybe, oops, put a little cross piece just to keep fuel from falling in. And then this piece, my plan is to have it sit on top of there, so all the fuel will be inside of there. And then I'm going to make a tube like 90 degrees out, like kind of L shape, to where I can attach the fan to blow air through it. So originally I was going to clean up these welds, but what difference does it really make? So that's where I'm at. So I think what I'm going to do is, I got this old pot or pan, I'm not sure, is that a pot or a pan? But anyways, I'm going to use this, cut that handle off, and then it'll be mounted on the bottom of that, and I'll put a hole in there for that pipe to go into. So this will be able to diffuse that air blowing in through these small holes and the main hole. So I'll get this handle off and then see if I want to cut it smaller, like shallower, or not. It might just work the shape it is. So I got the air tube done. I was gonna do it 4 inches overall length and change my mind to 4 inches being the shortest part, so that was just an error, and cut it, and it did have a slit down the side. I just crushed it together and then welded it, and then a couple holes I had to fill up. But now I am going to cut a hole through the bottom of that pot / pan, and then I think I'm going to attach these to the side of it so that when it sticks through that hole, it'll like support it, because I kind of want to be able to take it apart. I don't want to make it super solid, and I can always attach it together later if I decide to do that. I can just drill some holes and bolt it together. But I don't know, just kind of making it up as I go along. Alright, so I got the air blower section pretty much done. Ended up just attaching them together. I just used some snap rivets to attach them. I think that'll work alright. And I poked some holes in here, and with the intention of just using some self-tapping screws to attach it in here. It'll basically be like that. Get a hair dryer. My wife said I could have her old hair dryer if she got to buy a new one, so that works for me. Then this will go on top with this inside of it, and then I'm going to cut another rim to make a lid for that upper section. But first I need to get this attached, so do that next. Well, I got another rim that I'm going to take this tire off of. Looks like I started doing it at some time in the past. I don't remember doing it, but must have. And once I get that off, I'll cut the rim right along here, leave the other side on, and then that'll be the dome to put over the top. Hopefully it'll fit good. Alright, I got the tire off, and I got the rim cut where I wanted it. So now I just got kind of a dome-shaped piece here. Took the wire wheel to get a bunch of that rust off. I'm going to end up burning it with the weed burner just to burn all this paint off, and then I'll clean it up and paint it. But my point on this one is just to make it taller and kind of insulate it. So once I clean this off and paint it, I think it'll be ready to give it a try. Well, I got the top cover done. I just put a couple of eye bolts in here just to be able to pick it up. I don't know if that'll work good or not. I'll take them off if they don't, but anyway, there's the base, and I'll just assemble it here, all the different parts of it. Take it for a test drive. So I think for the initial attempt here, I'm gonna just use regular charcoal, fill up that reservoir underneath here, then I can put more on top. Put the crucible on there, and just see how long it lasts, what kind of temperature it seems to be getting to. So just for the first try, that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so I filled up underneath there, and I added extra on the outside. Put some lighter fluid. I'm not gonna put the fan on it quite yet. Just gonna see if it starts like this. So right now is approximately 6:10 p.m. So we'll kind of see how long this lasts. It's been about 5-10 minutes. It's actually starting to go. I had a little bit more around the side. Kind of hard to see because of the angle of the sun hitting the smoke, but I think I'm going to put the crucible on it to force the air to go out around it and hit that stuff piled around the outside. Well, it's been going for 12 minutes. It's kind of hard to see, but it just, to me, it looks kind of like a heavy-duty Weber mini charcoal grill. Maybe I should have just converted one of those. Either way, this is what we're doing. So it's been 26 minutes, and I do see the aluminum kind of moving around a little, starting to melt just slightly. So that's promising. I'm not sure if I need to add some more charcoal or not. I got another bag here, so maybe I'll open it up and look at it. So I just opened it. Probably just stir this around. It looks like the stuff that was in that burn chamber underneath is gone pretty much. But I also bought coal. I think the coal will get the job done. I can feel the heat. That's pretty hot. Like my hand's about 3 feet away from it and it's pretty hot. I'll just stir it and put the lid back on. Well, it's been about 45 minutes from the time I started it. Ended up filling up around the outside of the crucible with more charcoal. I know the burn chamber underneath was empty, which I'm not surprised about that. You can see that crucible's red hot in there. And then I did turn the hairdryer up to high for the last, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. And it's blazing. Like, I'm standing about 4 feet away and it's pretty hot. I wouldn't be able to stand any closer than that. So I'm just going to keep it going, and I don't know. I don't know if it's because the aluminum has a lot of dross in it that it's not melting, or it's just not quite the high enough temperature, but man, that's hot. Well, it's been 1 hour. I would not say that it was a failure, but I wouldn't call it a success either. But that was with charcoal. It's definitely red hot for the crucible, but I'll be interested to see what coal does. I expect it to be way hotter. It should be nice to get that residual aluminum out of that crucible, because my other video where I first tried it, I had like a layer of aluminum stuck on the inside of it. So if nothing else, I hope I can get that cleaned out. That little chunk right there on the edge is from a metal stick I used to poke in there, and I just scraped it off, but it hasn't melted. So, well, I'd say 1 hour is enough time to get a sense of what's happening here. It did pretty well, but not great. I think I'm gonna open it up and see what it looks like. Maybe I better turn down that fan first though. Well, there's still quite a bit of charcoal left in there. As you can see, ooh, man, that's hot. What do you think I should do? I'm not sure. Should I throw more aluminum in it? Should I turn it off? Throw coal in it? I think I'm going to try to get that aluminum out of there. No. Let's add more aluminum. Because it's either going to work or not. Alright, so I opened it up and I packed that burn chamber full of coal that I bought online. It was very expensive, which is baffling to me. But I wasn't able to find it in a local source. I'm sure it's around. We have coal mining in the area, so I just need to find a better spot for it. But either way, so I guess I'll put that crucible back on there, and then I still have some I have more coal, but this is all I was going to use on it, so I think I'll sprinkle that around the outside. Maybe some more charcoal and try to melt my big chunk. I think it's like half dross and half just aluminum I couldn't get hot enough to really melt. Throw that in there and see what happens. Okay, got the crucible in there. I got the bottom chamber filled with coal, sprinkled a little bit of coal around the edge, and then topped it off with some more charcoal. So this is about as good as I can do, I guess. Holy cow. Hopefully that will catch soon. It's just smoldering before it catches. But holy moly. Good thing I don't have any neighbors close by. Took the lid off. That's slightly better. Holy moly. That coal is something else. First time I've ever played around with it, So with all that smoke, I decided to take the lid off, turn the blower off. Because I was thinking, like, if you were going to be cooking with charcoal, you would light it, let it burn, and then when the flames go away, that's when it'd be the hottest to start cooking with. So I'm just going to kind of let it sit for a few minutes, see what happens. And then put the lid back on and put the fan again, I guess, when it seems like the right time. Well, it finally got hot enough to light that smoke that was coming out the top. Kind of cool looking. There you go. It's been a while now, probably another hour with the coal combination. I think there's a lot of dross in that, but I think it is hot enough. Well, thanks for going along with me. This was a fun build. I don't know if it's practical or not, but I had fun. So, till next time. Well, this thing's still rocking and rolling. I cleaned out, I guess it is dross. It just seemed like an awful lot of it. So I'm going to throw some more cans in there and see what we got. It's melting pretty fast. So that tells me it's hot enough. It's just all dross. So this is all from melted aluminum cans, so I'm not surprised with all the paint and crap. Well, I've spent the last month working on this and tried it out, and it did not work. I did not get the aluminum hot enough to just flow. So, I could do lead easy. That'd be no problem. I could use it to cook with like a big pot on top or something. Perfect. But aluminum did not work. So I wonder if I can change this into propane. Like put a hole in the side and just stick the weed burner in it. Anyways, thanks for watching. I enjoyed it. Till next time.